Hello, my name is Dorian Ellen Beldotan in Svat, and lately I've been making a few videos getting information out in stages because I'm trying to lay the groundwork for correct understanding of what's going on in our world. There's a lot of misunderstanding. People are understanding approximately, they're understanding in a piecemeal kind of a way. I'd like to put it all together herein, and hopefully it will calm things down, make things easier to understand and to tolerate. The world that we are living in is mostly artificial. There are some very real things in our world, and that is what holds it together. If it was completely artificial, it couldn't exist at all. But it's in the main artificial. What's generating this world is the Talmud. Principally the Babylonian Talmud, but also the Talmud Yerushalmi is an attempt to import what really isn't Judaism into the land of Israel, and it isn't much better. The Talmud is that which is not really Torah, which the Jews are learning continuously, and they are generating an artificial world out of it. Most of the rabbis do not know they're doing this, and I have to make this very, very clear that this is not being done to be evil. This is not being done intentionally. Most have absolutely no idea that they have the power to be able to create a world. They think that they are preparing themselves for a future world. This is what they've been told. But the learning of the Talmud, which is not really Torah, is generating an artificial world overlaid and superimposed upon the real world, which is the world that's generated by real Torah. I think initially the rabbis who started to learn this fake kind of Torah, some may have had selfish intentions and power grabs and so forth and so on, but I think that a lot of it really stemmed from them finding the moral demands of real Torah very, very difficult to bear. And I think that they thought that they could kind of water it down and sort of make a deal with God. You know, we'll keep some elements, but we'll do others, and not do others, and kind of like mix it in with our own ideas. And I think what they basically wanted was a watered down version of Torah, and that's not what happened. As a result of learning the Babylonian Talmud in Hebrew, which are the sound waves that have the most effect on matter and make matter the most obdurate, they created an artificial world. And that artificial world is characterized by an artificial mathematics. Real mathematics, Torah mathematics, doesn't have irrational numbers because there are no rational thoughts. It doesn't have any arbitrary laws that are sort of made up because it works sort of some of the time. The mathematics that describes the world that we live in is an artificial mathematics. Real Torah mathematics is whole numbers. Of course, there are multiplications, there are fractions, but it's also involved in the language, in the Hebrew language. Together, the language and the number system create a real world. The mathematics that describes this world is an erroneous and inaccurate mathematics, which is creating an erroneous and inaccurate world. the physical laws of this world are not just that way. They are also being generated. The nature of matter in this world is also not just happening to be that way. It's being generated that way, and that is why matter in this world is kind of, well, schlock. It's not really good stuff. That is being broken up now. What's happening is real Torah is starting to emerge again. There are enough Jews living on the land, even though the state is superimposed on the land, who know that something is wrong, who want to go back to the way things once were, that the way we connections that we feel with our ancestors. There are enough Jews who have rejected Babylonian Talmud that real Torah land is starting to come through that very hard and obdurate, impacted world that's sitting on top of Torah world. Talmud is an anagram for the word moledet, which is the land of your birth and the land of birthing. It's inaccurately translated as either a motherland or a fatherland. It's the land of one's birth. And Bavel, it comes from the Hebrew bilbul, which comes from lev, heart, but it's also a confusion of the heart. So the Babylonian Talmud is essentially a fake homeland that is being generated by a confusion within the heart, which necessarily creates confusion in consciousness, in the mind. That is being broken up. That is what's happening. The people who are going to suffer most from the breakup are the rabbis who will not abandon Babylonian Talmud, who are so invested in it that they can't let it go because they're either intellectually invested in it or emotionally invested in it or financially invested in it. If they won't let it go, they're going to find that their world breaks up. The same thing is true of the Christians. Christianity was generated by the errors of the rabbis. The erroneous idea about Mashiach, about the Messiah, that the rabbis adopted in order to keep people away from knowing what real Mashiach is and becoming Mashiachim, generated Christianity. God was holding Christianity up in front of the rabbis and saying, okay, let's take your erroneous idea of what Mashiach is. We'll take it to some exaggerated, ridiculous extreme so that you can see the error of your ways. I'll hold up this magnifying mirror to you and hopefully you'll see what you're doing wrong. Well, the rabbis didn't understand that a mirror was being held up to them. They just saw that this horrible image. So they hated what they were seeing, but they didn't understand that they were seeing the error of their own ways, exaggerated for them to be able to understand. So then Rabbinical Judaism gave birth to another ugly daughter, Islam. Christianity, to its credit, at least maintained many of the kind and gentle and moral and compassionate teachings of real Torah, of original Torah. Even if the idea of Mashiach was completely distorted and the idea of the birth of God and the mother was also misunderstood, at least they have the basic moral principles more or less right. With some editing. Islam then comes on the scene, and it's an exaggeration of the Jews' desire to rule, to bring the whole world under their own ideas. Total disrespect for females, the idea that this world should be sacrificed for the sake of the next world, an idea which, by the way, Christianity also makes that mistake. And so the people who are going to be the most disoriented by the breakup that is going to happen are going to be the Jews that keep to rabbinical Judaism, the Christians, the Muslims, those who have an investment in mathematical and scientific principles that are based on the erroneous mathematical and scientific principles, and those who have an investment in the erroneous legal systems which have been generated by the Talmud. These are all things that are daughters, sons and daughters of the Talmud, that have generation after generation been laid over layer after layer after layer, that has now become so rigid that it's breaking, it's cracking. Actually, this has already occurred. It has already broken up. On our level as human beings, Hashem is doing it slowly so that we're not too terribly shocked by it. As shocking as it is, it could be a whole lot worse. And also to give us time to be able to turn around. A few months ago, I went to visit in Jerusalem, and I had not cleaned my teeth for a while, and I had a buildup of, the plaque on the back of my tooth, and it broke, and I thought that my tooth had broken. Went to the dentist, and he looked at it, and he said to me, the tooth underneath is just fine. You didn't break your tooth at all. It's just the plaque over it that broke up. And he said, I'll clean it away, and you'll see your teeth will be absolutely fine. There's no problem. And he did, and everything was okay. And I remember thinking to myself, what is Hashem trying to tell me this? Why did this happen to me exactly when I went to Jerusalem? And as I began to see what was going on in people's videos, I understood exactly why Hashem had me have that experience, to show me that the plaque is going to break up, but the tooth under it is still healthy and is still going to be okay once the plaque breaks away. People might be concerned and think, well, if a whole different world is being revealed, and there are going to be different mathematical laws, different natural laws, material is going to work differently, time is going to be experienced differently. How disorienting is that going to be? Will I know where I am? How will I be able to orient myself at all? And that was the message of the tooth. Yes, you will, because your soul was hewn from those original ideas, from the ideas that arose in God's mind before all of this was laid over. So you are going to recognize that as your real being, your real teeth, your real bones, your real body, your real reality. You will certainly recognize it. The people who are going to survive this the best and the easiest are the Aboriginal people. They have always understood that the land is sacred. They have always been connected with their ancestors. They have always had an attitude of gratitude to the Creator for the land. They've taken what they needed, but not more than that. They see themselves as protectors of the land. Those are the people who are going to have the very easiest time of what's going on. And I suggest to people, especially Americans, Canadians, people in New Zealand, people in Australia, turn to the Aboriginal peoples and adopt as much as you are able to, given the fact that you are from Western culture. You can't just immediately adopt their whole way of life, but take as much as you can from them, learn from them, learn to respect them, because what they know is going to be your anchor when all of this starts to blow, and it's going to blow sky high. This is just going to continue and increase. We're seeing the earth cracking. We are seeing astronomical changes. We're seeing weather changes. We're seeing extremes. This is not going away, folks. And if you're abjure it, if you resist it, if you invest your emotions, your thoughts, your livelihood in these erroneous ideas, you are going to find yourself going down into oblivion with it. This is fair warning. I sent a letter to the Vatican. This is a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and in it I showed them proofs of what Christianity had wrong and how to understand it correctly. And I knew that it was going to cause like a shock to their consciousness, and I intended for that to happen, but I was sending it with to the purpose of it being received with some kind of understanding, with some kind of reception, with some, because they're seeing what's going on in the world too. A week after I sent that letter, there were 4, count them 4, earthquakes in Rome in one day. And then there was an unusual falling of snow, and there was an avalanche of snow. God knows that that was not my purpose in sending them that information. But that is what happened because they resisted the information. And this is what's going to happen to people all over the world who resist the truth. If you take it with joy, there's one woman left a beautiful comment. She said, I don't know why Venus looks so much brighter, but it's beautiful. Even if you don't understand exactly why what's happening is happening, look for the beauty in it, look for the positivity in it, look for the joy in it. Because if you don't, it's going to cause cataclysms, real cataclysms. Cataclysms in your consciousness, cataclysms where you're living, holes opening up, cracks opening up. This is not the result of the information that's being given to you. This is a result of resistance to that information. So please surrender in love, because this is a war that negative forces cannot win. Thank you for listening.